Point, AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. The program is Focal Point. The network is AFR Talk. Been talking with some urgency in this first hour about the threat to religious liberty that is posed by the homosexual agenda. And had John, a well-meaning caller, who's saying he agrees with a lot of what we say, but he thinks that it's a mistake to be too aggressive in fighting for our rights, that we're going to come across as whiny. And, John, I tell you, I'm doing the best I can to understand you, but it sounds to me when you say that we've got to be careful or we'll come across as whiny, I mean, kind of the way I size that up is that you're letting other people determine for us what we can say, that if in their judgment we're being whiny, then we have to shut up. If in their judgment we're being hateful, then we have to shut up and just take our lumps, rather than declaring the truth, whether we're regarded as haters or whether we're regarded as homophobes or whether we're regarded as whiners, which is what I think we need to do. And part of what I think is at stake here is we need to realize we're not just protecting our liberties and our rights. This is about protecting the rights of our brothers and sisters in Christ. And I'll tell you what I think. I think it's a very selfish thing. I'm not saying this about John. Don't misunderstand me. But I think it's a very selfish thing for me to say I'm going to allow my constitutional rights to be trampled without protest. That's selfish. It's the path of least resistance. It's the path of capitulation. And all that means is it will be easier for that same authority to do that to the next brother or sister in Christ that gets in the crosshairs. If I'm thinking about them, then I've got to be willing to stand up and take the slings, take the arrows, defend the faith, defend liberty in order to protect them. Now, this is what Paul did in Acts chapter 16. You're familiar with the story. A lot of people don't read or understand the significance of what happens at the end of this story. Paul, remember, is in the city of Philippi. It's a Roman colony. It was formed by retired Roman soldiers, so it was a little mini outpost of Rome. So all of the rights that pertain to Roman citizens, and that was a prized commodity at that time, were exercised and protected in Philippi because they had a lot of Roman citizens. They had a lot of people that weren't citizens, and they didn't have the rights that Roman citizens did. But Roman citizens had a particular group of rights that could not be infringed on, or you'd get in serious trouble if you were a Roman authority and you infringed on the rights of a Roman citizen in the discharge of your duties. You could get in mondo trouble for that. So Paul, as you remember, he releases this woman from a spirit of divination, from a demonic spirit, sets her free. Now her owners can't make any money off of her because that spirit of fortune telling was gone. So they arrest Paul and Barnabas. They lock them up. They put them in jail. They're in shackles. Middle of the night, they're singing praises to God. An earthquake comes. The shackles are loose. The doors are flung open. The jailer is about to kill himself because he thinks all of the prisoners have escaped. And the way that Roman justice worked, if you were a prison warden and your prisoners escaped, that was a capital crime. You would lose your life for that task. Remember, that's what happened to the guys who were supposed to guard the tomb of Jesus. They lost their lives when he rose from the dead. So the jailer comes to faith in Christ. They baptize him in the middle of the night. And the next morning, here is what we're told happened. Let's see, I lost my place. Oh, it's 16, yeah, I was wrong chapter. In chapter 16, verse 35, when it was day, the magistrates sent the police saying, "Let these men go." And the jailer reported these words to Paul, saying, "The magistrates have sent to let you go. Therefore come out now and go in peace." So in other words, what the magistrates say, look, you need to let these guys go. We're not going to hold them anymore. They're free to go. And the jailer says, look, you can go in peace. They're setting you loose. They're cutting you loose. Now, be good boys be compliant, make concessions, and quietly leave. Don't make a scene. Don't make a fuss. They're letting you go. Now go. And so what do you think the Christian duty would have been in that circumstance? What should a mature Christian do in a circumstance like that? Here's a brand new believer saying, come out now and go in peace, which you can do. You can leave. They're cutting you loose. No restraints, no fine, no punishment. They're letting you off the hook. Charges have been dropped. Off you go. And most people would think that the Christian thing to do is to thank God for that and go in peace. That's not what Paul did. But, verse 37, Paul said to them, they have beaten us publicly, uncondemned, that means without a legal trial. They have beaten us publicly with no trial, men who are Roman citizens, and have thrown us into prison. And now, do they throw us out secretly? No. Let them come themselves and escort us out, take us out. So Paul said, look, I'm a Roman citizen. No Roman citizen can be treated like I have been treated without punishment. I have rights as a Roman citizen. I have the right to a trial. I have the right not to be beaten publicly without being found guilty in a court of law. And I am standing on my rights as a Roman citizen. You have violated my rights as a Roman citizen, and I am not going to let you get away with it. You're not going to get rid of us secretly. You're not going to get rid of me quietly. I'm going to insist that you come, you publicly apologize for violating my legal rights as a Roman citizen, and I'm going to insist that you give us a personal escort out of town. So everybody in Philippi will see that you guys were the ones that were in the wrong. Now, why did Paul do that? Because he had brothers and sisters in Philippi that were going to be left behind. And he knew if he just rolled over without standing on his legal rights, it was going to jeopardize the safety and the security of this fledgling young church he was leaving behind in Philippi. And Paul said, look, I'm not that selfish. I'm not that self-centered that I'm going to take the easy way out here and just quietly go and put my brothers and sisters in Christ at risk. So there's a case, and I believe this is the example, John, Acts 16, that we do exactly what Paul did. If our constitutional rights have been violated, we have every right. Now, we don't have to. We don't have to stand on our rights if we don't want to. That's a matter of choice. But I'm saying that Christians have every right to stand on their constitutional rights, to stand both feet on the First Amendment, say, you cannot treat me like this because I am an American citizen. You cannot, you must not, I will not let you deprive me of my First Amendment rights under the Constitution. So that's my short answer. If Paul can do it, then we certainly can do it. Paul told us to be imitators of him as he was of Christ. That's one of the ways we can do it. All right, let's go to Dale, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Dale, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind? Dale, are you with me? Do we have Dale? There we go. Dale, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Welcome. What's on your mind?
Yes, I just wanted to say I enjoy your program, first of all, and the caller. I understood some of what he was saying, but my point is that we're actually, to me, we're under different territory now. We are in uncharted territory area, but we are handling this as it's of old. Sin is sin, and everybody is sin different. So whether it's homosexuality or lying, or stealing, or cheating, the law of the land has laws for stealing and different sins where they break the law. This thing about homosexuality, people have lifted it up past the law of the land, which is I haven't read a law of the land where you can't be a homosexual. But the trickle-down effect of what is happening in America has really exploded when the president of the United States of America, the free world, would actually condone men marrying men and women marrying women. So that trickle-down effect, it affected the world abroad and the school system, every college, every McDonald's, every place you go in to eat, because they are setting it in a position, as I said earlier, of uncharted territory, because you are having three classes of people. It's not about your ethnic background. Now it's about whether you are a female, a male, or a homosexual. So you would have to have 3 bathrooms in the school, 3 different bathrooms for 3 different human beings in a bathroom. So my point is, Brian, that the approach that we have as people that are serving God, we are handling an aggressive situation in a passive manner, because it's knocking on everybody's door. I'm not going to call your name, Brian, and say, Brian, don't you have a relative that is a homosexual? I'm not going to say that. But I will say this, that I have relatives, or a relative, or have had a relative that or someone that I know is a homosexual, and they're a good person.
All right, Dale, listen, I'm going to have to let you go because we are out of time. And you know what Dale is saying, look, we have people we know that may be involved in the lifestyle. We can love them without having to approve of what they do. Focal Point AFR Talk.